and just to remember that all of our ideas, all of our creativity is really just a reflection of the Creator's creativity, because I don't think that any human being has any totally original ideas. I mean, everything that happens in your brain comes from the creative mind that created your brain in the first place. It's just whether we tap into that knowledge that we have inside of us. And so my brain's always works overtime. Often when I'm lying in bed, I'm thinking of what my next painting, I'm thinking of what colors I might use. When I'm going for a walk, I'll see something and I think, oh, I have to paint that. Sometimes I'll take a photograph of it just to remind myself to paint it, and then I may or may not ever get to painting it, because there's so many things that one can paint. So many flowers, birds, trees, settings, sceneries, portraits, and in so many different ways. So I will never take a photograph, as some artists do, and then interpret it. Even my landscapes are taken from, they're not taken from anything. I will use as inspiration a certain type of landscape. Say I want to paint an English countryside, I will look at photos of the English countryside, and then I'll look at photos of famous English rivers to see, look how wide they are, how narrow they are, how they twist and turn. I will look at English flowers, English wildflowers, and I'll try to incorporate their anatomy. I draw a picture of their anatomy, but when it comes to the paintings, I don't have a photograph of the flowers in front of me, because I've already sketched them in sometimes in copper or gold or pencil or whatever I'm using, to try and help me see. But like English trees, I looked at birchwood trees, and they have so many leaves that I drew a few leaves on the tree, and then I started painting. And I started painting the leaves in many different colors, and eventually I couldn't even see where I had put the leaves, so I just carried on dabbing color upon color until I felt that they were full enough. And that's how I paint. So there's enough in the universe for us all to come up with our own ideas, I think. Just as every face is unique, even every animal, every cat, the markings on every cat are unique. 2 tabbies are not the same. 2 gingers are not the same. And so no 2 paintings need to look the same. It would be really utterly boring. I mean, I could try to copy the old masters and their style of painting, but why would I want to do that? They were suitable for their day, and they reflected the styles and the skills of the artists of their time, and they probably reflected the clothing and the makeup or the hairstyles of the day, and they wouldn't reflect much of what's going on in the world today, so I won't be doing those. Except maybe one could do it as an exercise in just honing your skills or something. I know a lot of artists do reproduce old masters, and so that's what some people want to have hanging in their homes, so yeah, that's fine, but that's not for me. I like each of my paintings to be sort of one of a kind. They're not mass-produced. They could be used as designs, especially these line drawings, as designs for bed linen or for wallpapers. You could use the inner portion just on repeat, or you could use the borders just on repeat, or you could use the whole thing. So let me see that I haven't left anything out here. You see, I could easily leave a part out when I create something which is a bit of a maze. But that doesn't stop me from admiring other artists and watching other artists. And you can always learn something from each artist's style. You can learn things that you like, and you can learn things that you don't like. Like I said, I have watched artists using projectors and apps, and good for them. And I'm happy that they feel it enhances their art or makes their art simpler, saves them the headache of trying to draw a profile or a face with and getting the proportions right. But I'd rather have the headache and do it from what I see and try and recreate what I see, however weird, distorted, or otherwise unusual it may be. Okay, I've run out of green paint, but that's the idea. So now I'm going to, there'll probably be a second layer and even a third layer of the greens and the white to get them more vibrant. But for now I'm going to quickly just clean my brush and then go into the white. So it's nice and white. So now I'm going to, it's right, but I'd rather have the headache and do it from what I see and try and recreate what I see, however weird, distorted, or otherwise unusual it may be. Okay, I've run out of green paint, but that's the idea. So now I'm going to, there'll probably be a second layer and even a third layer of the greens and the white to get them more vibrant. But for now I'm going to quickly just clean my brush and then go into the white. So it's nice and white. So now I'm going to do the background, and I do want a bit more oil on the background to make it flow. It will be the first of probably at least 3 layers. I don't mind if there's a bit of green in it. Then that will be the third color instead of white. Kind of a light green. Or by the time I get to the second or third layer, you might not see that touch of green. So that's where I'm going with this painting. And that's my thoughts that I've shared. And I hope I don't offend any artists out there who feel that they need to or want to or admire someone's style so much that they just want to try it out. Of course you can try it out, but they are entitled to their copyright of their paintings or whatever. And some artists do get very upset if they find people have copied their art. I wouldn't be bothered. I'm not famous, and even if I was, if someone else can live with themselves, knowing that they've copied my art, well, good luck to them. I'll just laugh. Okay, I'll see you in the next section. This is as far as I have gotten with the green, and I've started doing the second layer here, and you can see it's much more vibrant than the first layer. And then I realized that the border is supposed to be green, and that would mean that the leaves, although outlined in sap green, should also be green inside. But should I do them the full sap green, or should I leave them in the canary green, parakeet green, and just have the outline in the sap green? So I'm not sure what to do about that. I'll leave that for a while, because anyway the white is still very wet, and then I'll decide, because the green looks very pretty as it is at the moment. At least I think so. It's a pretty green, but I don't know how it would look if the whole border was completely green inside the leaves as well. It might just be a bit a bit overpowering. That sounds like a parakeet right now. Of course, I do go out the lines, especially with the camera in my hand. And in the end, you don't really see it because, I mean, these lines don't have to be perfect. And I'm not going to do a board of small leaves, although I might do that. Just a few little tiny leaves on the inside. So, with my circular canvas, I was able to pick up the canvas and hold it in my hand as opposed to on my lap, and literally climb inside the canvas to see what I was doing and to get the red and white perfect. And I could do the same with this one, since it's so tiny. So I'm just really enjoying painting these birds. I mean, I'm just having a renewed sense of amazement and wonder at how beautiful birds are, how many birds there are. The variety is endless, and we often don't stop to look at them. I mean, I think I'm very lucky because they not only live in the trees behind my apartment, but they come right down into the garden and strut around and eat the food that I put out for the street cats. Especially the little black ones, the blackbirds and the other variety, which I don't know what they are, but they seem to be some indigenous bird. They're everywhere. And they're very tiny but very cheeky. They sit on the line and they watch me put the food out. And as soon as I'm around the corner, they swoop down. And the cats back off and kind of let them eat, and then when they go, the cats come back. Although I'm sure the cats would love to catch one of them and have a tasty morsel out of them, but maybe they're too lazy to catch the bird. They're used to being fed. My cat once caught a pigeon. I had a rooftop balcony and she caught the pigeon up there and brought it inside for me, because obviously this was her gift to me. And I could see that the head was intact, and the wings seemed to be intact, but there was nothing inside the body. So she had obviously enjoyed that part. And she was still tiny then. And she was very brave, climbing up onto the roof from the balcony, from the rooftop balcony up onto the roof. It was quite a high climb, and she often did that, but then couldn't get down. As she now often climbs to the top of the eucalyptus trees and then cries and can't come down. And then I call her and I have to coax her to come down. And then she comes down bit by bit, and as she comes down, the bark of the trees falls away, and then she literally has to just jump down the last 6 feet or so, because, 2 meters, there's just nothing to hold on to for her claws. But anyway, she used to go mad about it. The pigeons used to drive her crazy up there, and she was determined to catch them. So maybe she climbs up in the eucalyptus trees to do the same, to catch the bird here, because there must be many nests up there. But mainly I think she goes up there because when she goes outside, and she wants to go out every day, most days, and today she wasn't interested when I went out. But she goes to, have some outdoor time, and